Some things we learned from the Air Force this afternoon about the suspect. He had a 2012 conviction on domestic violence issues, 2014 a bad conduct discharge. The information, they say, if it had been properly entered, would have stopped him from these multiple gun purchases. The Air Force says the info didn't get entered. They've got the Inspector General of the Air Force now looking into this. How concerned are you that this is an issue?
I am deeply concerned. And Shannon, I'll tell you, as I was flying back from Texas to D.C. this evening, I was getting, to be honest, more and more angry sitting on the plane, because this should have been stopped beforehand. Under federal law, it was illegal for this individual to purchase a firearm. He had a conviction for a crime that's punishable by more than a year in prison, and he had a conviction for multiple domestic violence crimes. Both of those, it's already ineligible. But several things happened. Number one, the Air Force, the Obama administration, didn't report those convictions to the NCIS database. That's an endemic problem. It's a problem with the federal government. It's a problem with the states. And so when he went in to buy the guns, they ran the background check, and they didn't find it because it wasn't in the database. But I'll tell you, we could have prevented this. In 2013, in the wake of Sandy Hook, I joined with Chuck Grassley. We introduced legislation that was called the Grassley-Cruz legislation. And it was aggressive legislation targeting felons and violent criminals to stop them from getting guns. There were a couple elements of that legislation that were critical. One, it mandated that federal agencies, including the Air Force, report to the NCIS, because that was a problem back then. But two, and this is an even more critical piece, if it had been reported to the background database, when he went into Academy to buy these weapons, he lied on the forms. That is a felony, to lie on those forms. The Obama administration didn't prosecute those cases. In 2010, 48,000 felons and fugitives lied and illegally tried to purchase guns. They prosecuted only 44 of them.
And that becomes a big part of this argument, because people want more gun control laws, but if we're not enforcing the ones we have now, that's a big issue.
And let me draw a quick distinction.
Quickly, because
gun control for felons and fugitives, yes. For individual citizens, law-abiding citizens, no. And the Democrats filibustered the legislation that would have resulted in this shooter being in federal prison instead of murdering those innocents in that Texas church.
So many unanswered questions and missed places to have potentially stopped this.
Well, thank you for the prayers of so many Americans, and Texans are so grateful for.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing the stories of those you met with today.